Each year at this time, we gather here today to acknowledge the patient that doesn't make you inwardly groan when you see their name on your schedule. A patient that is punctual, courteous, honest, and willing to accept medical advice. The patient that should be bestowed the Golden Care Card. Unbeknownst to many of you, the origin of this award goes back to Hippocrates, the father of medicine himself. When many of you think of Hippocrates, they think of his famous Hippocratic Oath. Yet after setting up his practice in Kos, he would come across many patients that were of distaste. So he realized after coming up with this oath to also reward his most virtuous patients. So thus was born the Hippocrates Golden Wreath. The Roman physicians put their own stamp on this practice and presented the golden sandals. In the 1800s, it was symbolized by the golden cane. As the ages went by, it has come down to what it is known today, a golden card that represents the most healthcare benefits with the lowest copay possible. Today we are presenting this Golden Care Card, also known as your GCC, to a patient that far exceeds the standard. As stated before, in order to receive this reward, the patient must be punctual, courteous, honest, and willing to accept medical advice. The first of these is punctuality, or in simple terms, being on time. Being on time may seem like a small task, but in practice it can make or break your clinical day. The good patients show up 15 minutes before time to allow time for vitals to be taken and paperwork to be filled. But our recipient is known for always showing up on early. In addition to punctuality, they believe attendance is must. If for some odd reason he cannot make his appointment, he always calls 24 hours to cancel it or to reschedule. They are not the type to show up on your clinic that day demanding an appointment. Courteous is the second requirement. As we all know, running a clinic can be stressful and rushed at sometimes. Having a patient that is flexible and polite when the bumps in the road comes is more than needed. Our recipient is all of these and more. There are times when he has shown up early, but an emergency has come across and the physician was unable to see him, and he will patiently wait in the waiting room. When the doctor comes and says, "Well, I'm sorry, this is what happened," they will simply respond, "I understand, things happen." The third requirement is honesty. Why honesty, you must be wondering? Well, it's simple. We need your honest opinion on your pain scale from 1 to 10, whether you're drinking, whether you are smoking, or whether you were doing something you shouldn't have been doing. It is common for patients to say they're taking their medicines or staying away from alcohol, but in the stretch the truth a little bit. But our recipient, he never lies. He even goes as far as to make sure he puts back the pen after filling out paperwork. Finally, we come to the final yet most important requirement, the willingness to accept medical advice. Most patients like to use the slogan, "We know our bodies," but they often forget we have the manuals to their body. Our recipient uses the medications as prescribed and limits physical activity when needed and directed by physicians. They even go beyond to make sure that they call and ensure that their medications is refilled before they run out of their last pill. In short, this man is every doctor's dream. Most of us have Mr. Right Now patients, but this, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Right, the most deserving of the GCC, Mr. Billy N. Franklin. Like, that should have been actually cut.
Is that it?